Along with me, make some noise because it is her birthday today. Please welcome here my co-host, Angelique.
She's got issues. Something's wrong with Brittany. I mean, that's just my opinion.
So you don't know 100% what she has been going through, and you never know what anybody is going through.
Right.
And
I think the conservatorship might have not gone the way they intended because they didn't really give her the platform to live. Like if
How would you feel if someone was following you around with a camera?
exactly. I mean, if you
know,
saw the way that it's been.
They were harassing her.
Together by herself. That doesn't tell me that was somebody who was struggling with that much of a mental health problem that she can't live her own life under or without a conservatorship.
And I told my mother and father I wanted to live as a woman, and they said no. And the next day I did it anyway. So that was my first protest.
Not just the aspect of what Trump was standing for, but I was very much in support of the Me Too movement and everything like that.
Never let anybody tell me that I can't fight for all of them equally because I'm equally all of them.
Absolutely. That's awesome. We're going to commercial because I don't have anything good.
You're funny.
Hello and welcome. This is Common Courtesy TV, a conversation on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. Each week on this show, we talk entertainment news to social, political topics from the lens of the community, along with our allies. And also we interview special guests from businesses in our local Bay Area. I am Sean Nicholas, your host and moderator. And along with me, I have, along with me, make some noise because it is her birthday today. Please welcome here my co-host, Angelique. Yes, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share this day with you.
Thank you.
And everybody here, thank you guys.
Thank you everyone for coming. So Ivan is off this week, and we are filming live here at the event space at Bowles in Ybor City. And this is the first time we have a studio audience. Make some noise! Yes! And this week, our special co-hosts, we have not the entire cast of Bryan and Esme's Big Gay Radio Show, but we have a couple of them. Yes, bitch. Please welcome to our panel, Josh Morrow, Esme Russell, and gay news twink Chris Gorman. Thank you guys so much for being here. So let me tell you about this show. So each week, these talented LGBTQ plus cast helps us celebrate our pride in the Bay Area year round. Every Thursday morning at midnight on 88.5 FM WMNF Community Radio. So I just kind of want to ask you guys, that's a lot to get out. I just kind of want to ask you guys as I get comfortable with you guys. I wanted to know, how did you guys start this big gay radio show and what inspired you to do it? Because it was first starting you, Josh.
Yes. Well, I started it back in June of, I think it was 2020. And I started because there was radio shows out there for just about anything and everything except for the LGBTQ community that's on terrestrial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've worked in broadcasting since I was 13 years old, and I decided to form a show, to support, to give the LGBTQ plus people a voice in the Tampa Bay area. Along the way, I found out that, it's hard to talk to yourself. So even though you're talking to somebody else, it's hard to talk to yourself. So I met Bryan. And we became friends, and he joined us.
And then Bryan had worked with me on the Esme Russell show, which I did for 11 years on internet radio. It was an international show. And, I banged that cup. And, so he was on my show for 6 years. I was on for 11 years. And once I finished that show, when my contract ended, I stopped working. And then he started working with him. And one day he said, why don't you come over and be my special guest? And I said, okay. And I did it. And then I did it again. And then they asked me to stay on board.
Yeah. Everything it went really well when we added Esme. When she came in as a guest, everything just flowed. And we needed someone, I felt that we needed someone you know, and no offense, honey, but a little older, more wiser.
Yeah, I have a little experience.
You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, and I don't take it that way.
But you know, we needed some, you know, like the mother that keeps everybody in line.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh, sorry.
Oh, and how did you guys get Chris along board?
So Chris came along after Sean did. Sean is our voiceover guy.
Oh.
And I brought Chris on to do our news, starting that first. And then I found out when I'm in there trying to control the control board and trying to also have it's hard to have side conversations and you got 500 things going on at one time. So we decided to bring him on as a producer to have him control the board and, you know, chime in with us and still do the news.
Right. Okay.
And that's how the show got to be.
So what inspires you guys to do it like every week? Like there's a lot of topics that I've heard you guys talk about. It gets kind of heated, especially like on this show. What inspires you guys to come back every week to do this?
Sometimes we get mad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been on the air and I've gotten really mad. He knows, he gets mad too. And that's a good thing though. I mean, I hate to say that, but that difference of opinion is what creates the magic of the show. Because if everybody's a yes man on the show, that's not a good show.
Yeah, no.
Somebody's got to think differently or variations. You know what I mean? We're on the same page, but we just see it differently. Does that make sense?
Right, absolutely.
So it's kind of amazing because it really does flow really well. But I do get frustrated a lot because, you know, I'm an Aries, and what is your zodiac sign?
I'm a Gemini.
So he's like, so my mom's a Gemini, so him and I, we go, but it's a good thing though. I'm telling you, it's a really good
My
thing.
ex is a Gemini, and that's
It's a challenge. It challenges me.
Yeah.
It challenges me. So, and that's good.
And Chris, what about you? What makes you come back every week?
Honestly, just the ability to talk on all the different issues. Because I think being able to, what I like doing is I like bringing a lot of people in because I also help with the guests and scheduling them to come on. So I very much enjoy bringing a voice to the community and giving various different people who wouldn't otherwise have a voice to come on the radio.
Right, absolutely. And you know, Chris has been on this show when he was working with, you still work with Come Out St. Pete, correct? He's still on the board. So he's been on the show. So let's get into some hot topics because I'm going to get loose. Okay, so let's talk about Britney because I stand for Britney Spears. So this Sunday, the father of pop princess Britney Spears, Jamie Spears, spoke to the Daily Mail where he says that without his help, Britney would have been dead. He claims that conservatorship was a helpful tool in keeping Britney from ruining her career and saving her relationship with her children. Now, I'm not sure if you guys read the entire, article in the Daily Mail. I kind of want to go to you guys and ask you, was he this sincere in his thoughts about taking care of Britney, or did he really have to intervene? Was that what saved her career? I kind of want to start with Esme first. What do you think, Esme?
So, before she got on the conservatorship, she was in big trouble.
Right.
She was falling apart. There were visual episodes where she was being filmed, falling out of cars, shaving her head. After she got on the conservatorship, it was quiet.
Right.
He was able to control her money and control her behavior. They put her on medication. It seemed like she did better. Over time went by, she wanted to break free from it. So I think at the beginning it was a good thing for her. But I think that ultimately she's an adult. She needed to have an adult life, and she wasn't having one. But she's got issues. Something's wrong with Britney. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if it's medical. I don't know if it's drug related. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, schizophrenia. I'm not sure what is going on with her. But visibly, you could see her on her TikToks. There's definitely anybody with any kind of brain can look and say, okay, we love her. We do love her. She's legendary, but something's not right. Her makeup doesn't look right. She doesn't look pulled together. She doesn't look fresh. She looks always in disarray, like either she's taking pills or I'm not sure what's going on. I do know that mental health is a big thing.
Right.
And we don't know what her mental health situation is. I will say this, and then I'll pass it to someone else. Her husband, she is married now, released a statement yesterday that he does get very embarrassed by her when she gets nude.
Right.
That he feels he would like her if she didn't do that. My question is, what if your own husband Because I've been in relationships where if a boyfriend of mine says, Esme, don't do that, it embarrasses me, I would stop. And she won't stop.
So you feel that his intentions
He's-
were good
he's-
at the beginning.
He's sending a message out. Well, the husband is to us.
Right.
Somebody help her. I think it's a cry for help. I really do. As far as the dad, I think he got greedy over time.
Right.
I think greed did get the best of him. But I think,
16,000 a
yeah,
month.
yeah, I think that I think initially that is her father. I think the good intentions started. I do believe that, but I think greed took over. I really do.
And
She does need help, though. I don't know if it's going to be him that needs to bring her the help, but I don't think she's doing well.
let me go to birthday girl over there. Let me see what you think. You've been quiet because we know this is how I would do the show today. But what do you think? Do you think her dad had really good intentions, or was his intervention needed?
I mean, I think, like, I agree with a lot of things that Esme said. I think at the end of the day, like, she was in a hard spot when the conservatorship started. And I think it's really hard to say anything other than that she needed the help. And so that was the best way that they could help her. I think the conservatorship might have not gone the way they intended because they didn't really give her the platform to live. Like, if she's heavily sedated, if she's on medication from a respectable standpoint of that, like, I think she really probably hasn't been given the opportunity to live her life the way most of us would have. So imagine you're 40 years old. It's like that Adam Sandler movie, like you're an adult, but like you're getting to be on your own for the first time ever. You're going to do a lot of childish things. You don't understand the scope of what it is or how damaging what you're doing is because everybody's always kept you sheltered. You're always protected from things. So right now, her and her freedom and complete freedom to not take her medicine, to take her medicine, freedom to do the things she wants to do. She's found out about TikTok, and imagine when she found out about that, she started to post a lot of fun little videos. She's always dancing. She was getting her little bit of freedom then, and nobody told her that it was wrong. So now she's still doing it, only she's taking it another level forward. She no longer has the makeup crew to come in. She no longer has the people to come in and take care of her that she had before. So now she's doing it on her own, so she doesn't look her best. She's not going to wake up and, she hasn't done her own makeup in probably a long time. Like, and then the psychological side of it, if there really is an issue with her to where she needs medication to be what we would quote unquote call right in the brain, she's not given enough, like she doesn't have the capacity to understand exactly how wrong she is. She just thinks she's free.
She also's got 2 teenage sons in high school. Can you imagine your mother is on Instagram weekly with her boobs out, dancing crazy, and you got 2 do you know what their friends are doing to them in school? I was a teenager. I remember my mom picking me up at school in a sexy dress, and for weeks I would hear about how sexy my mom was. I don't know about anybody else, but that would embarrass me. So can you imagine these boys? Their mother's like this internationally famous woman, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's gotta be. You got to think about those kids,
Just not to run out of time, I'm going to go to Chris next. Chris, what do you think?
I definitely think the path to hell is paved in good intentions. And I think this is definitely the best example of that. In that he may have intended to be good. However, at the end of the day, they did use their money. They used her money.
Yeah.
Right.
So should they have used the money in the ways that they did? I don't think so. But did it save them? That's not my personal. I don't know Brittany personally.
Right.
Yeah.
And none of us do.
And we don't know what her situation is.
So we don't know what her mental health situation
We really
is
don't.
outside of the cameras and outside of the paparazzi and outside of all the different news stories that come out, which very much could be skewed.
Yeah.
So
especially the ones in like the 2000s when they were taking
exactly.
pictures of her, you know what I mean?
So you don't know 100% what she has been going through, and you never know what anybody is going through.
Right.
And that's why it's important that if you are exhibiting those sort of symptoms and that you are sort of feeling that type of way, that you need to get help.
Right.
And I very much hope that she does get help if she is going through that kind of stuff. But it's one of those things where you've got to want to get help.
Right. Let me go to Josh. Josh, what do you think? Do you think he did? Are you agreeing with the table, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with the table. I feel like at first he was trying to do something to help her.
Right.
However, everyone says she went crazy. And I don't really, yeah, she shaved her head and she attacked the paparazzi vehicle, and how would you feel if someone was following you around with a camera? all the time?
Exactly. I mean, if
You
you
know?
saw the way that it's
I mean,
been.
That
it's
part.
they were
That
harassing her.
part. Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like the conservatorship has done more damage to her than it's done good.
I can, I kind of wanted to just piggyback off that because honestly, me, I just earlier this year, today I'm 11 months sober. I forgot to say that in the beginning. And thank you guys, thank you. So I remember how I used to get and my behavior before that, you know what I mean? And I know I wasn't attacking paparazzi, but you were getting arguments with your friends and your family. I did all this without a conservatorship, so I'm not Brittany, but she did say a lot of the times, in some interviews, she would cry about this. And we as America watched this. We watched her go on television and say, these people are bothering me. They're constantly harassing me. So like, I think, when she had to do, when she,
Yeah,
when
but
she
the
had to do-
conservatorship wasn't because they were bothering her. The
well, it was her
conservatorship,
reaction to it.
correct.
But then again, I always hear that thing, you can choose how you react, but she was the first celebrity to go through that type of like harassment. It wasn't like, I mean, she was in
5 or 6 years old. She was on the
Britney,
Disney
the
Channel,
Mickey House, Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
And from that, it wasn't like, because Christina Aguilera came out at the same time. They were following Britney all the time. Even what Justin said about her on that radio show, because at that time, it was so important for her to be a virgin, like your life is under a microscope. So I can kind of understand you just freaking out, I mean, I didn't go through the same thing that Britney did, but I can kind of feel, when someone's pestering you and following you, just like I went through sexual assault during this. So the way I reacted and I told people didn't believe me. So I got angry, but then I kind of realized that wasn't their fault. Now, would I have gotten there with my mother helping me? I don't know, because no one else can tell someone what to do unless they make that own choice themselves.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that it is up in the air, that we'll never know that if this conservatorship really helped her. But I agree with Josh when he says that this conservatorship did more damage than good, because then you can't, when you get better, we never got a chance to see Britney when she got better. Yeah, we saw her do Womanizer and all this other stuff.
If it's
but
medical,
we only see her work. We can't see her personal life. But she was not allowed to talk to camera. She was not allowed to. That conservatorship kind of silenced her. So we really didn't know when she was okay.
but if it's
So then as it
medical
went on-
though, if it's mental, if it is some sort of mental disorder, something's wrong,
Right.
whether it's I don't know, schizophrenia or bipolar or any of the mental things that can happen to anybody, that can happen to anyone. If it is one of those things, then that could factor into the behavior. You know what I
Right.
mean? So sometimes people need special care.
But I don't
Especially when
think
you
that-
got that kind
I
of
don't
money.
think that's her deal, because to able to not only put up your own shows, like putting up this show, when I was drinking, it's hard. But then again, she had dancers. She was choreographing the dances, putting the entire show together by herself. That doesn't tell me that was somebody who was struggling with that much of a mental health problem that she can't live her own life under or without a conservatorship. So I mean, like I said, we never saw when she was okay.
Yeah.
We never got that. There's a fly in here. We never got that from her. So then we just had to keep reacting until she had to fight through social media, like how we saw, to get the Free Britney movement. But I think we're out of time. Anyone's got anything else to say before we go?
Just the last thing I was going to say is I think you guys have to also factor in the child star action of it. I don't think there's any child star that's ever grown up in our society that hasn't had some kind of rock bottom. I just think that she's the first one to actually lash out. I mean, everybody else goes internalized, right? They turn into drugs, they turn into deviant activities or behaviors. They get caught rolling around in
But
cars.
Robert
drunk.
Downey Jr., look at him. He
Oh,
had a
he-
big drug problem.
Yeah,
but
he
he had a lot of bipolar and stuff that he got taken
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
of, and
But
he
I
got
think it's
treated
just-
for, and drugs, but he
needs
got
to be
treated for it.
considered, and then realize, it's a catch-22 that we're all looking at it from the one side of it, but the reality is all we'll ever see it is knowing why the caged bird sings. We don't know what happened to it while it was caged up, but we know
Right.
that it sings, right? She's singing tunes now. It just ain't so pretty.
All right, we're out of time for this topic. Here's a message from our sponsor, Dave Gorman of Tampa Bay Gay. We'll be right back. Cut. Oh, shit. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Dave with Tampa Bay Gay. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. Here's a few of the LGBTQ events happening around the Bay Area this week. All week, celebrate the holidays and stream A Holy Mess on Outshine at Home for free. If you live in Florida, simply log on and add it to your cart. Sit back and enjoy this compliments of Outshine Film Festival. Tuesday, December 20th is Drag Queen Bingo with Alexis Delamere at Quench Lounge benefiting Pasco Pride 2023. Also, Tuesday night, come celebrate Angelique's birthday in a live recording of Common Courtesy TV. Come be a part of the studio audience. Then on Thursday, this week's holiday movies are It's a Wonderful Life and Dashing in December. Tickets on sale now. RSVP now for Found Family's new Queers Eve open mic night on December 31st from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. This sober event is open to everyone. The Tampa International Gay and Lesbian Film Festival is accepting film submissions for the Transgendered Film Festival. Also, now is your chance to join the screening committee, see free films, and give your input on next year's event. That's it for this week. Have a safe and happy holiday, and remember to support our local businesses. We'll see you guys next week. Visit TampaBayGay.com for the latest local events and more. And please like, share, and subscribe on all platforms.
Folks, and we back from that last topic. All right, let's get into it. A lot of us on the panel have or have been involved with our community, especially through activism. Now, I just kind of wanted to go to you guys and ask you, when was the first time you ever participated in a civil protest and why? And if not, why then? Let me start with Josh. Let me go to you. When was the first time you ever put some boots on and put it to the floor and said, I don't want what you're selling?
Well, the actually really been vocal was when I started at the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been to pride festivals and things like that. Growing up since I was like 18 years old.
Oh yeah.
So.
You're so nervous. Don't be so nervous.
He's just like me. He's very jittery. It feels we're both under this table. We're rolling paper. We're moving around. Josh and I are both extreme. I didn't realize that right now he's as jittery as I am. We are so jittery. I am the jittery person, but I'm Cuban. I drink a lot of Cuban coffee. That's why. So,
Esme, when was your first time when you?
So I was gonna say I told you off the air that it was the protest when they were going to make us register us. All the drag queens in Tampa had to register themselves to work. This was back in the early '80s. But
that's crazy.
Actually, my first protest was when I was 14 years old, and I told my mother and father I wanted to live as a woman, and they said no. And the next day, I did it anyway. So that was my first protest. I'm serious. That was my protest. Like, I was really protesting. No, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to change my hands.
And I did it. So, because, everything is local, right? It's like even voting, starts local.
Yeah.
And protesting starts local inside your house. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just the first time you tell your parents, no. That's a protest.
Oh, I've done that all my life then.
Yeah,
I've been protesting all my life.
Yeah, if you've ever said to your parents, no, this is who I am, that is your first protest. Absolutely it is.
And Chris, what about you?
So I've definitely been defiant my entire life, like Josh said. But my first actual formal protest was when I was 15 in 2015 with the Women's March that we had over at I think it was Vinoy. Over in St. Petersburg to protest Trump. That was the very first. That was the very first time I protested. And
they don't like him.
Yeah, it was. It was the acts that he was promoting, and I very much was against the. Not just the aspect of what Trump was standing for, but I was very much in support of the Me Too movement and everything like that. And then my next one was, I think, a couple years later at the Black Lives Matter movement. So it's...
And he wasn't a fan of that.
I was not.
No, so that's good.
So I've been trying to do it as best as I can for as long as I can remember, pretty much.
Yeah, and what about you, Ange? When was your first time? Other than last week at the Tampa Pride, meeting. Other than that one, you brought the house down.
My mother, lovely as she is, she reminded me that I've been protesting since I could fucking hold a picket sign. I was always like a 4'11" munchkin when I was in middle school and stuff like that. But I think my first time ever, really, when I think about it, I protested against. It was at a Planned Parenthood. A friend of mine had been in high school and she got pregnant, and I went with her to go get her abortion, and I realized that there were people across the street cursing her out and like giving her the business. And that was the very first time. It was actually here in Florida. I was in the 10th grade, and I went with her. I couldn't do anything but just go. I couldn't be anything other than a friend at that time, but she got the permission to do it and everything, or she signed the form herself, whatever, I don't know. But I know she had it, and we went, and I just remember being like, what the fuck are you guys even doing out here? And I was like, they made her feel so horrible that she was inside crying, and I went outside and I cursed every single one of them out. And I'm like literally like this big, and that was like my first instance of like actual protest, being a pro-life person. Like I felt like you have no right to tell her what she can and can't do. Like you're not her parents, you're not whatever. Like if she's here, she's got the permission, she's got what she needs to get it done. Like you guys don't have anything. I think after that I went to school in Pittsburgh for college, and I started not protesting, but I launched a campaign to help people with stereotypes against HIV and AIDS, and I got committed to that because I really wanted people to understand that it's not the end of the line for somebody. It's not a death sentence. It was so much better at that time. And from there, I went into a little bit more of the civil rights stuff, like for Black people, especially in Western Pennsylvania. It was not safe for anybody of color. There was a lot of racism that we endeavored. So we marched a lot in the streets for that. But I think my first really big movement was the Black Lives Matter movement, marching all the way through USF and all the way down the road through past all those things, and like dealing with cops and people like acting a fool and stuff like that. It was insane. And that led me to other things too. But any chance I get, if I'm around it and I feel like it's something worth fighting for, I am quick to jump on the lines. I'm actually a little too quick at times. People have to kind of like pull me back and remind me like, it's a little dangerous. You shouldn't be out there like that. But I love being a part of my community, and I'm blessed to be not only a part of the Black community, I'm part of the trans community, I'm part of the Latin community, I'm a part of so many different things, and I never let anybody tell me that I can't fight for all of them equally, because I'm equally all of them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. We're going to commercial because I don't have anything good. No, I kind of want to jump in with like where Esme said it. My first form of protest was talking about gay marriage in back when Obama was running in 2008 and 2007, and I was living in Orlando, and I never really knew how. I guess I forgot how homophobic Florida could have been at that time, because if we let men get married, they're going to be trying to marry cats and dogs like that.
I remember all that.
Oh God.
We'll talk about that later. There was a movie made called Coco.
We had a whole
I had a whole
three
episode.
show, yeah.
I had to fight him with that. But anyways, that was my first form of protest, because we were talked about at work, and it was the first time people that said that you're friends, they didn't want to see you happy. Like me getting married is just, I'm a Leo. And I just want a very nice time with my friends and family, but I do want that commitment. I'm not an open relationship person. Sorry, boys, but no, I'm kidding. They got men, but no, I'm kidding. But I'm not open relationship. I just want something monogamous, and that's just who I am. But that was my first time in voting, because I never thought voting really mattered. Until that was on the ballot. And no, Obama at that time didn't say, oh, I'm for gay marriage. They were talking about domestic partnerships. But I was reading politics very well at that time, that if I was going to vote for anybody that was going to make my life something that more the way that I envisioned and dreamed, it was going to be Obama. And it's not going to be McCain. I loved him. He was a very nice man, but it wasn't going to be him. So I voted for him. But I agree with you. The first time I actually got outside to do any type of protest was the 2020 George Floyd thing. Because to be quite honest, if you've seen them films back in the civil rights movement, dogs and shit, and
And
they
beatings.
were hosing you, and I was running a lot, but it's not funny because that stuff is real. Because I was downtown in St. Petersburg, and they were shooting rubber bullets at these people who were just out there protesting, or if they wanted you to go home. It was very militaristic what I saw, and I never thought I'd see that in the city. And it was funny that I saw that, because right inside, if you go into St. Petersburg Police Department, you will read about the Courageous 12, which was 12 Black men that sued the city in order to police the entire city and not just their community. And I'm like, well, if they got that shit in there and you go right into it, read it, I'm sure these cops see it. So what's the problem? So I guess this is a really good question, because just from that, I can't just back down. You're talking about Angelique, you're talking about her, you're talking about him, you're talking about me too. Because when I moved to New York City, let me tell you, when I moved to New York City, that's why I always talk like this. I've never met someone, to my friend Isabel, someone was talking shit about me, and she's like, do you want to say that in English? you know, and I'm like, who's she talking to? I'm
We
telling
can't
her
say the
story.
word shit on the radio.
Oh,
Every time you say it, all three of us go like this. Look.
Yeah.
No, but we can't say it on the radio. There's a button they have to press.
Yeah. And he give you
But
the time.
every time you say that, you always go.
Oh, sorry. But she's like, you want to say that shit? I was giving you a chance.
No,
You
you-
want to say that
no,
shit so
you're
you can
good.
understand what you're saying? And I'm like, who's she talking to? She was talking to this dude over there, and she's about to fight him 4 months pregnant. And I'm like, oh, she's down, you know, like, but I've never had someone stand up for me because I was always afraid. You know, I was always afraid of standing out until, you know, 2020, because like I said, I would thought I was going to get mauled by a police officer and shit like that. But it comes a point where none of that matters. You got to stand up and say some shit, because if you don't say something, when they come for women, they come for men, they come for gay men, drag queens, they're going to start coming for you.
That's correct.
And you know what? I think we're out of time. Unless anyone want to throw something in before we get out
No,
of
I think
here.
that ending is perfection.
Oh,
I really
thank
do.
you.
Yeah. If you don't speak out, eventually they'll come for you. If you don't speak
Absolutely.
out for me, eventually they'll come for you.
Mhm.
They'll figure out something they're going to take from you.
Every
So,
day.
every
that
day,
drag
yeah.
queen shit I just read. You know what? That's for next season. You know what, guys? I want to thank our studio audience for being here. I wanted to thank
Thank you.
guys so much.
And they're so nicely dressed.
I know, gorgeous. Oh,
Very nicely dressed.
Okay. I also want to thank our special guests. I want to thank Josh Morrow, Esme Russell, and Chris Gorman of Josh, Bryan, and Esme's Big Gay Radio Show. We will be there next week, next Thursday morning.
Yeah, Thursday morning.
Wednesday night to
When-
Thursday morning.
That's
a lot.
correct.
I'm sorry now. I
That
also
buzz
want
is
to
gonna
thank.
go beep 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 beep.
I also want to thank my mother for always being there for me. I also want to thank our sponsors, David Borman of Tampa Bay Gay and the event space at Bulge. And until next season.
Happy birthday, Angelique.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Angelique.
Happy birthday, Angelique. I'm not going to leave my girl out.
Happy birthday, my love. Happy birthday, baby.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next season, always try to have a little bit more common courtesy. We'll see you next time. Follow our podcast page, Common Courtesy TV, here on Facebook and YouTube for more conversations on love, sex, relationships, and commentary on the latest trending news. And listen to us on multiple podcast platforms via commoncourtesytv.buzzsprout.com.